Good morning and welcome, America and the world. Welcome to Cedar Creek Homestead. We sure appreciate you joining us today for this episode of This Week on the Homestead. And I'm airing this every Saturday. All of my videos pretty much will be planned to be uploaded around 7 o'clock p.m. So if you want to tune in over to our channel around 7, you should get our latest videos. But each Saturday night at 7 o'clock, I'm going to be uploading a video of what's going on here at the homestead, at Cedar Creek Homestead. So today I thought on this episode I'd take you along a little bit and just show you what it's like a day in the life of a homesteader here in Oklahoma, or the way we do it here. I don't think there's any set way that you have to do it, but I love this lifestyle. Now, I do still work out on a public job. I have my own business, and so I do have to go out and work, but I pretty much can control what I do on my business. This time of the year is a whole lot more busier. In the wintertime, there are days that I get to stay home, that things aren't so busy. That's my own choice. I could have a big business. I've got one employee. I had two. One of them, he got a better offer, so he's left us. That's okay, and my son works for me, so I believe he's going to stay, and that's great. It's just I'm kind of laid back. I like this simple, more laid back lifestyle. And as you can tell, my chickens, they're getting all wound up this morning, and so I'm going to slide down this way a little bit and get away from them. But anyway, I love the simple life. I love the homesteading type lifestyle. This is fun to me. It's relaxing. I like raising animals. I like growing a garden. I like raising cattle. And I'd like to do this full time one of these days. And if the Lord allows, I'm working on getting to where I could retire and get out of my business and be all the time here. My wife gets to stay home. It's one of our goals years ago, and we were able to get that where she wouldn't have to work out and she could stay home, so she cans and takes care of the home life and keeps an eye on things here. My parents, they live right here next door to us, real close, and so it's nice having them nearby. They like to travel, and they have a travel trailer, and they like to go camping and stuff, so they're not here so a big part of the time, so we're able to keep an eye on them, keep an eye on their place, and kind of keep an eye on them and help them if they need help, and they do the same with us. So it's kind of nice here on the same property they live, and so but we just got a good thing going here. Thank God for this lifestyle. But I thought today I'd take you along for today's adventure. If I haven't said it already, I plan on uploading my videos all around 7 o'clock nightly. Now, I got three main focuses during the week. One is Coffee Time, which is aired on Tuesday, which is just a jibber jabber about whatever I want to talk about. And if you got a subject you could send to me, that'll air at 7 o'clock on Tuesdays. And then on Thursdays is Cattle Talk, and that's just about cattle, what's going on about cattle, ideas that I have, things that I've studied, showing if you're into cattle. Thursday nights at 7 is a good time to watch. And then Saturdays at 7 o'clock p.m. will be this program that I'm calling This Week on the Homestead. And so all these are at 7. I also have other videos every night. If I upload a video, I'm planning on doing it around 7 p.m. That's just the time I picked out. I chose one. I was like, you can set YouTube to air at an appropriate whatever time you want, and I've decided to do it at 7 o'clock, and so p.m. Central Time. So if you want to tune in here and watch us, we'd sure love to have you. But take you along this morning, show you a little bit of what we do here on the homestead. First thing I done this morning is got up, had coffee. I sat out on the back porch. Wife got up, she come out. We sat out there for about an hour. One of our favorite homestead people was on live. So I told her, I said, when I checked the computer when I got up, boy, I seen that he was live. Do you want to watch it? And he said, yep. So we brought the computer. We have a laptop we put out on the back porch, and we watched one of our favorite YouTube channels live. So, and it lasted about 30 minutes. And then by that time, I'd had a couple of cups of coffee and was ready to get started. So I went in and changed to clothes and got on my homesteading clothes, I guess you would call it, and getting ready here to start working. It's early in the morning. The sun's coming up over the hill here, and it's still cool, but we're going to have a hot day. Our days are starting to warm up here. We're actually getting the 90s, and we're cooler than we normally are for this time of the year. Last month, our average temperature is 77 degrees for the month of May, and this year the average was like 72. So if you average the temperature, so we were a little cooler. Right now we're in the lower 90s. We'll get up today about 91, 92 degrees. That is not bad. But this time last year, by the July, we were already getting up around 100 or more. So I'm thankful for a little bit cooler, but it does get hot here. We have bad humidity, so boy, when it starts building up after a while, it's just where you can't get out. Of course, today, most days I will, I'm off on Saturdays, but during the weekdays I have to get up and go work. So if I do my homestead and chores while it's cool, and then I'll head out and me and my son go and work. And so it gives me a little time here. I'm kind of set where I can be independent and do kind of what I want to do. I'd like to stay home all the time, but this time of the year it gets so hot by 10 or 11 o'clock. It gets so hot and humid that you can't hardly stand to be out. But then in the evening, I come back home, it starts cooling off, and about 6 o'clock or so, the way the sun comes around here, my stuff starts being shaded from the trees back over here on the west. So at that point it starts cooling back down. I'm not saying it's cool by any means, but it's definitely livable, and I'll do some more work in the afternoon. Let's go along here and I'll show you a little bit of what I do in the morning. First thing I do is feed the chickens, and I lock them up at night, so in the morning times they are eager and ready to come out. And the reason I lock them up at night is because of predators. The skunks and coons and possums and foxes and whatever, coyotes, are abundant around here. And so to protect them during the day, they do free range, and they can go wherever they want to. I have a barrel of corn here, and my chickens and stuff get 1 can of corn in the summer months. That's all I feed the chickens that are allowed to free roam. Now, sometimes I have had to lock my birds up because well, they might start getting in the garden when the tomatoes are ripening, and so far this year they haven't been bothering the garden, but at times they'll get started bothering the garden. So if they do, well, I lock them out of the garden. But anyway, I take a coffee can full of corn and I feed. I check on these little hens I've got. I've got my 2 hens sitting in here. I have videos I've shared about moving a broody hen, and I showed you I had 2 settings. So I have got them both in this pen right here, setting side by side. That one's got the feathers off her back, but that's because the roosters have done it. Just trying to get this to stay up here. I didn't want to scare them off the roost, but I wanted to clean this here pan here a little bit. They get off during the day and they want to eat. So you can see both of them. They should hatch almost on the same day or just a day apart. So I'll probably be able to let them raise their babies together, or I'll they're in here safe, or at night predators can't get to them and stuff. Or I might take and let one hen raise the babies, but that'll just depend on how things go. Anyway, I've been working here the past few days on my grow pen here, and I've got a metal up over there. I'm going to put metal on this side, put some roost in there, and this is where my intermediate type birds are going to go when I get the turkeys get ready. I've got them in the brooder out there right now, but when our time comes, the little chickens and stuff will go in this here, and I've got a door here where I can go in and feed and water them and stuff. I still got a little work to do, but I have concrete poured all the way around the perimeter where something couldn't dig in and get into them, and but I'll let them grow up here, and then I'll move them into the big chicken yard over here when the time comes. But anyway, they kind of outgrow the brooder, and it seems like they do better when they're outside, if you can get them out as much as possible. And when they get big enough, I can let them go in here and let them mix in with the big birds and let the big birds. Now over there's my guinea pen. Some of my chickens go over there and roost with the guineas, but I turn them out here in just a minute, as you'll see. We'll let them go. I lock the guineas up too at night. We have a lot of owls around here, and the old owls will eat your guineas. Well, last year I got the idea that when I got my guineas raised, I would put them over here in this pen, and when they got up pretty good size, about half grown, I'd raise them over there. So I did, and well, they love that pen, so I started letting them out this spring. They go back in there and roost. Even some of the chickens want to roost with them. They go back in there. One of the roosters and about a half a dozen hens, they go in there and roost too, so they're protected. I shut them up at night. It's not as nice as the big hen house over here, but anyway, they like it, and the chicken inn over here is a lot better than this old chicken pen I built 10 years ago. Just kind of threw it up and whatever I could find and put it together, and it's held up and worked. I eventually plan to tear it down and get rid of it, but for right now it'll serve its purpose of what I need, and the birds are doing good in there. So anyway, that's a little bit of what we do here. I throw this corn, I just throw it out on the ground and distribute it, but mostly my birds scratch and eat, and they stay fat, but they get to go over here in the woods. There's worms and stuff, and they get plenty to eat, but I don't model coddle them. I mean, in the winter time it's different. They don't have stuff to eat in the winter, but right now I do 1 coffee can a day, and that keeps them going. Chick, 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 chick. Yeah, there comes some more. Come on, babies. Well, anyway, they'll get out here and eat, and the guineas are carrying on. They're like they want out of their pen, so I'm gonna go over and let them loose. I've got a little gate right here on this, and they can come out and roam out here, and there's lots of stuff to forage and eat on. Occasionally an old eagle or a hawk will get one of my chickens, but that's something I can't hardly help. If it's a certain time of the year in the spring, the eagles want to hang around here, so during that time I keep the chickens locked up. I just set this can back over here inside the feed room, and anyway, I open this up, and it's funny, these chickens, they'll switch back and forth. It looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 hens that have gone in there. I'm gonna have to back up because the guineas, I've got one old guinea there, an old rooster guinea, that he's all crippled up. He had something happen with his feet, and they're got like they turned into little balls on there, and it's just he's getting crippled up, but he's also getting old. But they're very hard to catch and do anything with. And anyway, this pen out here is in the shade, and they love to hang around out here under the shade when it's hot during the day. But right now they'll get to moving around out here, and they'll scratch and eat bugs and ticks and whatever, and that's fine with me. They keep the ticks down and keep stuff lowered. The next thing I do is go pick the vegetables in the garden. And I got my trusty little old buddy right here, Foxy. Hey, Foxy, smile for the camera, buddy. You ready to go get him? Well, go get him. Get him. Come on. Come on, killer. He's my little buddy. He thinks everywhere I go, he's got to go. And he got snake bit last week, and but he's all healed up now and doing really well. He was trying to protect me from a snake, and he got bit. But anyway, I keep some clean, newer like buckets in here in this little room with my garden tiller and other garden supplies. And that one happens to be an Atwoods, but you can get these relatively cheap. But I come out here to the garden, and on my tomatoes this year are some of the worst I have ever had. But I do have tomatoes, do have green ones coming on, and they'll eat. But usually my tomatoes by now are clear up to the top of these baskets, and they just have not done. Now my peppers, this is a good year for peppers. They have, they're making, I got a bunch of little bell peppers. I picked some bells out of here, and they're doing really good. But I'm going to have tomatoes. It's just not a bumper crop like I used to have. I may have a better fall crop. I've planted some late ones. See right there, I had a tomato turning ripe, and a squirrel has come in here and ate. And right down here is some more evidence of a squirrel. So I've got this electric fence I put around here, and trying to keep the squirrels and rabbits out. I have finally slowed the rabbits down. They were in here eating up my okra. I've got a video on the okra. You can see how poor that stuff looks, but it is leaving back out. Those plants there are getting leaves, and I think they're going to be okay in making. And anyway, this is one step that I do. I normally don't walk around and talk about the garden every morning, but this is some new okra I planted, a little row. It's kind of late, but it's coming right on up, and it's probably going to do as good as the early stuff just because it's not getting ate down by the rabbits. Here's my onions. We've had some rough storms, and they've gotten beat down some, the tops, and usually bend the tops over when they're about ready. And in this row of beets here, they the rabbits ate them down through here so bad that I'm going to get some down there, but not going to get a full row. But like I say, now I've stopped the rabbits. I think my electric fence idea has worked for right now. But I've got this little electric fence. I have a video on how to do that, but I usually use it out in the cow pastures, but here I use it around the garden, and it appears to slow down the rabbits, but it hasn't stopped the squirrels. So I've got to work on the squirrel problem. I can tell they've been out here eating some. Anyway, I'm going to pick some vegetables here, and I'll show you the bounty that I get. Well, I got a little bit of stuff out of the garden today. I got a whole 5-gallon bucket of cucumbers. I got a few more cukes down in this one, and peppers and squash. And I pick the stuff every other day. So I don't pick my garden produce every day, just every other day. And you can see how much you get doing that. The cucumbers are the main thing to keep picked, or they get too big. And I have some cucumbers that were too big, and right here's one. I throw them over the fence, or I attempt to throw them over the fence. This one did not make it, but my chickens will peck on those. Well, I still can't make it. Anyway, I throw them up over the fence and feed them to the chickens, and stuff like that likes to eat them. So anyway, I'm gonna take this stuff into the house now and make my wife's day. Gathered the eggs here out of the hen house. I hear some of the hens cackling. I don't know why the rooster is in the nest, but he was actually up in the hen nest for some reason. There's still a girl on the nest there, so it looks like for right now I've just got one egg. It may be too dark in here for you to see what's going on, but I just picked them out yesterday, and I try to do it in the morning and get them in the evening. And so far I got one egg out here. So I'm going to take the garden produce and stuff up to the house. Oh, carrying these buckets in gets tiresome. Are you cooling off there, Foxy? Are you hot, buddy? Are you hot? Trying to cool off a little bit? Well, go ahead. Don't let me stop you. I'm gonna go in here. My wife's been really a canning here, getting stuff ready for winter, and she's been canning up her dill pickles. Now I love these pickles when on a burger or a sandwich, and then sometimes I like to eat the whole ones, but she has sure got a good scald on canning pickles. And I see here she's got some, she's too bashful to be on camera, so I'll just show you a few of the goodies. That's some of her bread and butter pickles she's made. And used to, I didn't like these things, and my brother just loves them. And he come over here one day and asked if she had any bread and butter pickles. So we was watching a ball game or something on TV, so he was munching on them. So I thought I would try some, and lo and behold, why, them things was good. She's got a bunch of green beans canned here. I think she said she has about 30 jars of pickles canned. Here's some more of her green beans. Look like she's got some peppers and stuff here to work with. Different things here she's working on. She probably won't like it that I'm getting in her, showing her goodies here on film without giving her a chance to kind of get everything situated. But she's really been a working canning, and appreciate what she does here. My wife Josie is a great asset, been a blessing to me, and appreciate what she does here. Like I say, she's too bashful to be on film, or I'm trying to get her to show how she does some of her canning. But anyway, I'm looking forward to eating some of these. Sometimes I get into a jar of these before they have fully done. What I mean by that is usually a couple months of being pickled before you eat them, but I'll usually get in these here, and I may even on the 4th of July get me some of these. Seem like when they're just about half pickled down in, it seems like they're so good then. Anyway, just a little bit of the canning that's going on here in the homestead. And I think she's going to try to do about 50 jars of cucumbers. And we are loaded down with cucumbers this year. They have done super in the garden, better than any other thing we've got is cucumbers. So there's not going to be any problem canning a bunch. I'd like to get a bunch of these little ones. Those are sure tasty and as a little treat every once in a while. Anyway, there's the canning update. Alrighty, I got them some fresh water. They got food there. And fresh water. I was going to show you something that I do. I feed this kind of feeder because it holds a lot of feed. Kind of maybe hard to see there, but I put chicken wire up over that. Those little turkeys will fly up here and land, or baby chicks, whatever you got, and they can get down in there. Usually I have always found them before it done any harm, but I'm always afraid one will die. So they get up here and it kind of gives them a little perch to set on. And but anyway, it keeps them from getting down in there and getting stuck. And I've heard of people having baby birds that have died that's gotten down there, but if you check them at least twice a day, I don't think they would unless they got severely chilled. But there's the little turks, all 14 of them still living and coming along. But you can see that one right there, he's trying to hide there, but he's got some wing feather problems. Most of them, there's another one, I think there's 3 that I've counted, maybe 4, that's going to have some wing problems, and they tell me that's from incubating them. If the temperature goes wrong, you know, they're real critical while they're growing. So but we're proud of these turkeys. I'm looking forward to them when they're grown and they start strutting and gobbling and all that stuff. I've always loved turkeys. Now we'll go out and feed the chickens out in the big brooder. Got chicken wire over this, in case you're wondering why. If you've raised birds, you understand this. They can fly up out of this. Now they're getting their feathers on their wings, and them little boogers, they fly up and land on top of this feeder and sometimes on top of this water, and they don't take much more. They can get up here, and I'm afraid they would get out and get under something and I never would find them. So just to kind of protect them a little, I keep this chicken wire strewn up here to protect them a little bit. But just something to think about. I used to raise birds. You never have one fly out, and then one day you come out and you got 2 or 3 of them out, and sometimes they're hard to catch once they get out, or they'll go hide somewhere or get in tall grass. I had some little guineas get out on me a year or so ago, and they got in the tall grass, and they would just sit there, and they were hard to find. So just a little word to the wise there. Might put you some wire on top of your where you're raising your baby birds. Well, now it's time to feed the bigger birds. And these guineas, they have gotten to where they really eat. They'll eat this feeder filled up twice a day, and in the mornings it's usually completely empty. But they've drank all their water today. But just to show you a little bit here, these are the chicks. You can see how big they are. Alrighty, here's the little chickens and the 3 ducks. You see how well they're growing. They're coming right along. And I got to get at least the ducks out here into the grow pen. As soon as I get it ready, I should have it just in the next day or 2. And I can start moving these birds out. They're really growing and get to be something else. Proud of these little chickens and stuff. Some of these we hatched ourselves, some we bought at Atwood's. Got some Americanas and some Cuckoo Morans. I've never had the Cuckoo Morans before, so it's something kind of new for us. And this here's a little white one's one we hatched out of our own eggs. She looks like going to be a little pullet there. She's really going to be a dandy looking one. Anyway, there's a little look at the birds. I'm going to get them some water and some feed. Something you have to do twice a day. Let's check on your birds. I keep chicken wire up here on this thing. I try to keep it at least half full of feed all the time because I got such a bunch of birds in here. But anyway, I got to go get them some water. This is a little update on the chickens. They're doing good. Well, the next thing I do in the mornings is I hop on the four-wheeler and I go move the cows. And they really move themselves. I just go open up a gate for them and move them in. So we're going to go do that this morning. You've probably seen me do this a lot. It's nearly every day. Sometimes I will skip a day if they depend on the size pasture that they're in. But this morning I'm going to go move them here and see what. Come on. Swoo. Come on. Come on. Come on. Swoo. 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 Come on. Come on. They're hungry this morning. They act like they're liking this fresh grass here. They hadn't been on it in about a week or so, and they're enjoying that. Come on. Swoo! Come on. Foxy? No. Come on. Swoo. Come on. Come on. There's little Rosie with her baby. Latest calf we've had. He's coming on good. Come on. Swoo. They're still coming. They pretty much move themselves. All you got to do is open the gate and call them. Call them for dinner time. Come on. Swoo! Hey, girl. No. Foxy, no. No. Hey. Hey, Foxy. I didn't tell you to do that. Come on. Get over here. Good boy. No. No. Leave him alone. Be a good boy. Come on. Got this steer here, was born in December. Both of these, this brown one and this white one here, were born in December, and they're really grown. They're 6 months old now, and they have really put on the weight by fall. They were born kind of early. By fall they ought to really be doing good. Hey, that's a little bit of an update of this week on the homestead. We don't have a whole lot of neat new stuff going on this week. We're picking garden produce, and the chickens are growing. The cows are doing well. I think we're through calving for this season until this fall, and September's the next time calves are due. But it is starting to warm up here in eastern Oklahoma finally. Not that I'm wanting it to get hot, but it is starting to heat up. Stuff's really starting to grow, and we have been working on my chicken grow out pen. I showed you a little bit of that, but trying to get that finished this week to make me a bigger grow out area. I heard the water moving back behind me in the creek, and it's my dog in there swimming. But anyway, we got things going on. But just to remind you a little bit, it's on Tuesdays at 7 o'clock p.m. every week. I'll have a coffee time. And in this coffee time, what I do is just chit-chat about whatever. On Thursdays at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time, we have a cattle video. If you're into cattle ranching, it's all it's going to be is just something about cattle ranching. This week was about minerals, so just whatever subject I come up with, if you got one you'd like for me to talk about. I don't claim to be no great expert. I have been around cattle my whole life and helped raise them, and have a successful cattle ranch here, but by no means do I claim to be a doctor or an expert or anything like that in what I'm doing. But anyway, I do appreciate you watching our videos. If you haven't subscribed yet, we would appreciate you subscribing, and hit that little bell there, and it will give you notifications when I upload a video. Not only do I have my regular planned videos that I do Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, but I also have things that I put out all during the week, how-to videos, or just something I catch that I like that I'm doing. I just like, hey, I'll make a video of this and I'll share it. But I hope you're doing fine on your homestead, and may God richly bless you, and we'll see you next Saturday here on this week on the homestead, and God richly bless you. We're gone.